Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a reading for the sign of Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Gemini, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. I truly appreciate it. Just a quick note, please do not fall for any scammers. I will never reach out to solicit for a private reading. I do offer private readings, and if you're interested in signing up for one or in making a donation, the information regarding that can be found in the About section of my YouTube page, and I thank you so much in advance. Gemini, today I'm doing a special reading having to do with blockages, boundaries, and breakthroughs. So to start the reading, I'm going to be pulling from the Wild Unknown Archetypes. I'm going to pull the card, read it, interpret it, and then read the definition from the book at the end. And I'm using the Meraki Tarot for your tarot reading today. Cards have been pre-shuffled. Actually, Spirit's telling me to burn some Palo Santo, so just to clear the energy from my last reading, which was Libra. So I'm going to do that. All right, this is for Gemini. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, I did not do this for any of the other signs, but I must do it for you because they came out like this. The first card that came out was the Castle, but the card that came out behind it, which I had to take, was the Lover. The Lovers is the Gemini card in the major arcana of the tarot. So it's not the same number, but this number is 17. 17 in the tarot is the star energy, which is Aquarius energy, another air sign, but I just had to take it, right? Because they came out together. And the Castle, this is a beautiful card. You can actually see here the eye that's kind of bejeweled. So interesting though. So lots of kind of freshwater pearls. And even this is kind of weird eyelash energy. I don't know what that would have to do with the Castle. This, you know, kind of reminds me of, I'm hearing that lyric from Beyonce, flashing lights, flashing lights. It's almost like you wanting to be, okay, this is the scenario that I see. It's like you wanting to be recognized for something, but it's almost like you're in this high tower, and like Rapunzel, like you're in this high tower and nobody can kind of reach you or get to you. With the Lover card here, and we could be talking about a significant other, could also be talking about coming from a space of love, having, oh, I just heard having so much love to give and not having an outlet for it. You ever feel that way, that you just, there's so much in your heart, and just based on the way that you were constructed as a human, that sometimes it's difficult for you to communicate it. Strange, as you are the sign of communication. I actually, you know, I was thinking about this. I was thinking about you this morning, Gemini. Actually, when I woke up this morning, about, it's not Gemini's default to hit the area of feelings first. It's the Gemini's proclivity to look at a situation and think this and that are true. But there are certain signs that believe in absolutes. Like, it's like, no, things are black and white. They can't be both. And then there are other signs, like water signs especially, they're more fluid. It's just like, well, it depends on how we look at it. So I almost feel as though it's like this energy is really boundless, And this energy is really highly confined. This and that are true. So let's get to the tarot. 4 cards for the base spread, 4 cards for clarifier. Blockages, boundaries, breakthroughs, and advice from spirit. It's very, very windy here, so you may hear some howling through the window. Oh, well. Okay. There are also special cards in this particular tarot deck, and I've kept them in. It's amazing. You're one of the last signs that I'm reading for, so this deck has been broken in, but the message is slow in coming. You could be feeling some major, talk about 8 of Wands in reverse, talk about slow in coming messages. You could be feeling like not quite yourself, like whereas usually you would be very, very communicative and not hesitate about what you were thinking or wanted to say. There could be something really, oh wow. Sorry, I keep saying oh wow, but I just find there's like a lot of synchronicities happening. Spirit asked me to look at the bottom of the deck. It's the High Priestess. High Priestess is Pisces energy. It's the major arcana, number 3. Major arcanas are the major archetypes of humanity represented in the tarot. It's the first 22 cards of the deck. The High Priestess sits at the veil between worlds, and she is very psychic. This is a very psychic person or an individual, very psychic mentality. This is at the bottom of the deck, so this is in your subconscious. I think there's some gifts of yours that may be coming online. And that could be really disconcerting to you because they don't make any kind of intellectual sense. They don't make any rational sense. But if this and that are true, then I almost feel like you're kind of in the mood to embrace this psychic part of who you are. Right? This is the kind of person that walks into a room and can read the energy of the room. They can see what's behind the facade of somebody or something. You could be really wrestling with that right now because it could be you stepping outside of your comfort zone because you don't have any facts to back it up. It's just your own experience, and it's so personal. That's the thing when we kind of spiritually ascend. There's so many people, right? So many light workers have spiritually ascended in the past 3.5 years. But it's such a personal experience that we can, as light workers, relate to one another and yet can never truly understand because it's almost like that particular spiritual path is it's meant just for you. It's your unique spiritual path. So I feel as though I'm like seeing a whole scenario, right, where maybe you're starting to see synchronicities or things are falling into place, or you can see manifestations kind of, or you speaking something and then it kind of happens, whether positive or negative. And I can see you almost having difficulty communicating that because it's not quantifiable. It's a lot of, this is what I saw, but I didn't take a picture. This is what I felt, but I can't prove it. Which is not to say that I think Geminis are all like little scientists. It's not about that. But I think you like to have some evidence to back things up, and you don't have any evidence here. It's just faith. It's just belief. So that could be causing some major roadblocks for you, because it's stepping outside of your comfort zone. Knight of Wands is in the area of the blockages, clarified by the Devil. Capricorn energy, you could be dealing with a Capricorn. So this Knight of Wands, it's a little fox, and he's kind of like in the air. He's like pouncing. And it's almost like saying you're really enthusiastic about something, like you could not be more excited if you tried. But there's something here that's keeping you really in a really self-destructive place. The Devil is all about keeping the lovers, actually. The Devil keeps the lovers trapped and bound by their own negative self-talk, by their own obsessions with things, codependency or addiction. The Devil can just be that thing that causes the Devil's energy plants seeds of doubt. It's almost like somebody looking at your excitement and saying, whoa there, Gemini, you need to calm down. Like, that doesn't seem like a good idea. I wouldn't do it if I were you, you know. And it actually affecting you in some way and saying, oh God, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I need to rethink this. I feel it's some of you, not all of you, but some of you might have addiction issues, right? And I'm not sitting here judging that. I absolutely have addiction issues. It's right here, and it's called caffeine. And that might not be like a drug addiction or like drinking or whatever, but it's not good for me when consumed in the amounts that I consume it, right? So, not judging it, but it's something to look at, because it's keeping you from your happiness, ultimately. We get stuck in cycles of repeat, and it's not helping our forward motion. I mean, you literally want to pounce on something, you're so excited, and the Devil's like, here's this fox like kind of stopped in its tracks by this howling wolf. I'm sorry, a little fox is not going to stand up to a wolf. What is this Devil energy talking about, please, Spirit? What is this Devil energy referring to? What is this Devil energy referring to? 4 cards came out. The very first one I saw was the Empress. Could be a divine partnership. Somebody who, this is not your energy. I feel as though this is external to you. Somebody who has their you-know-what together. They have it all together. And you could be wanting to pounce towards that, right? You're so excited. But the Empress expects an Emperor. The Empress has the power of all 4 queens. She's the major arcana number 3 in the tarot. She is the master attractor. She has so much confidence in herself that she manifests something and it just comes to her. She allows for flow. 3 of Pentacles. Co-creation with Spirit. 4 of Cups in the reverse. Understanding that there's new love or friendship that is waiting in the wings for you. And the Obscurity card in the reverse. The Obscurity card in this deck is, I got this card yesterday for someone. There's a little bird in a boat kind of coming out of the shadows and going towards the light. Right, so I think it's that this idea that you don't want to go into obscurity. You don't want to stay in this place where I almost feel like the word niche came to my mind. this niche. Geminis have a very, that's a perfect word for Geminis, and the way they think. It's a very niche way of thinking. It's such a Gemini has such a unique perspective on the world. My twin flame is a Gemini, and I remember having very in-depth conversations with him, and it was just part of me just was trying to understand how his brain was wrapping around a situation. And it's a very niche, very niche perspective. It involves that this and that are true mentality. And it was very fascinating. So all of these cards together kind of tell me that in the approach towards somebody, it doesn't have to be a romantic person, but somebody that you're excited to know, somebody that you feel drawn to, somebody that has everything together, somebody you admire, somebody that is worthy of admiration, that you feel as though this is somebody you could work together with, right? But maybe what is preoccupying you right now is this sense that you're not going to be seen or valued in the way that you think would highlight your best attribute. So in other words, if you're presenting yourself to an Empress type figure, could be a future boss, future company. If you're presenting yourself to a future entity, that you are afraid that you are not going to be able to put your best foot forward or make an impression that is perhaps relatable. Remember when I said this castle energy felt like there was so much you wanted to give, but it was like stuck up in this castle somewhere. There's no ladder, right? Like you can't, like Rapunzel, like unless she lets down her hair, we can't climb up to see her, right? So it's something like that. It's such a strange way to look at it, but this is the blockage right now. It's this, all of this excited energy wanting to move towards something really, really fruitful, and just completely being stopped by your fear. In the area of boundaries, this is your energy. For me, the King of Swords is Gemini. And typically this card talks about somebody who is an authority figure, somebody who has a lot of credentials, who is well educated, a learned person, who has a lot of experience, who looks at things rather coldly. And so in the reverse here, it's almost like, almost weird, because Libra got the exact opposite kind of reading, where Spirit was channeling this message of getting back to self. But it's almost like I see you kind of stepping outside of who you are, stepping outside of your comfort zone to try and relate to people. 8 of Wands in the reverse. I showed this to you earlier. 8 of Wands in the upright usually talks about very fast action, fast communication. Anytime we see umbrellas in tarot readings, it can represent Spirit's protection. This in the reverse, to me, represents slow movement. It's very windy outside, and I'm just imagining, you know, an open umbrella kind of flying down the street, just willy-nilly without its owner, you know, kind of being carried on the wind, and not having a direction, like any way the wind blows. Now I hear that Freddie Mercury singing that line, any way the wind blows. That's the end of Bohemian Rhapsody. Bohemian Rhapsody is all about the devil energy. That song is absolutely one of my favorites, but one of the lines in that song is, Beelzebub has a devil put aside for me, right? It's hard not to hear it in your head and sing along. Beelzebub has a devil put aside for me, right? Mama, life has just begun, but now I've gone and thrown it all away. I think I'm gonna have to listen to that song after I do your reading. Please listen to that song if you've never heard it. Be Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. By Queen. That song is about, I mean, there's so many interpretations of what that song could be about. But Spirit just gave to me a sense of misguidedness. Somebody being really misguided. You know, sometimes we can all embody the King of Swords energy at one point or another in our lives. But it's almost like when you're often the authority, it puts a lot of pressure on you to always be right. And when you're wrong, it's not just, oh, you're wrong, you made a mistake. It's like colossal, because people look at you for all of the finite answers. And that can be difficult when this and that are true. This is something that I feel like this is in your area of boundaries. So it's kind of like maybe putting a cap on it and understanding that there is a possibility to allow for other opinions. 4 cards came out. Expansive. What did I just say? There's a possibility to allow for other opinions. Expansive is like, is completely thinking outside of a box mentality. Going as far and as wide and as crazy as we possibly can. So, in a sense, the boundary that you're putting on yourself is actually the releasing of the boundary. Does that make sense? You're releasing very stagnant thinking that requires evidence or proof, and you're just saying, okay, let the umbrellas blow, throwing caution to the wind, literally. The other 3 cards, Knight of Cups in reverse, King of Wands in reverse, 5 of Swords, all in reverse. Together, these cards, you know what it feels like? It feels like an ego death. King of Wands in reverse. I mean, King of Wands in reverse is not always a pleasant person. It's somebody who is lacking in a certain level of control. Knight of Cups in the reverse. This could be somebody who wants to bring in a message, but that message might not be as authentic as one would hope, or have enough meat to it, right? It could be a partial communication, a partial action. The 5 of Swords in reverse is like no longer interested in playing games, you know, playing to win. 5 of Swords can be very cruel energy. Playing to win energy. Winning at all costs. That's what they call the 5 of Swords. All of that is being released. Right? All of that is not interested in that anymore. Like having to one-up people, which the King of Swords can sometimes do. Like needing to be right. In a way, you're drawing a boundary on that and saying, no, I'm interested in leaving room for all possibilities. In the area of the breakthrough, you have the Reclusive and the Knight of Swords. So when you, this is truly a quieting of the mind. See how even this energy here, it's like, it feels very blustery, just like the day today outside my window. It feels very blustery, and yet you're here kind of in this little underground cocoon with your little yellow crystal. You could be relating to yellow crystals or yellow chakra, the solar plexus. Yellow crystals can be fluorite, bumblebee jasper, citrine especially, golden healer. You might want to look at working with some of those crystals. But the reclusive card to me talks about a quieting of the mind. And when you do that, when you just kind of release everything, that's when another kind of message can appear. Knight of Swords in the upright is very earnest, clear messaging. So it's not, you're not abandoning, see, and then what happens? You're not abandoning who you are. This is not what I'm talking about. You're simply expanding your own definition about what your identity is, how you define yourself. And when you do that, it's like, this is the universe card. There's an up-leveling for you. The universe card is the number 21, which is the world card. It's the universe in this deck. But it talks about chapters closing and new ones beginning. And look, I mean, it's this energy. It's like portal energy to this expanse. I would not be surprised if some of you were astral projecting as well. I feel that really heavily. You know, kind of levitating outside of your body at night, or in a theta wave sleep state, barely, not even asleep, but just hitting those subconscious realms. But being in between, this and that are true. I'm safely, oh God, this and that are true. Astral projection. I'm safely in my bed and I'm flying in the sky. That for me, that's very, very poignant. If you've ever astral projected, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm safely in my bed and I'm flying in the sky. This and that are true. And the whole expanse of identity just opens up like a big bang. It just like opens up for you. And what is your advice? 2 major arcana, the Hierophant, number 5, and the Star, number 17. Look, the Hierophant is connecting. It's almost like you are going to, once you release this devil energy, which you already know is your blockage, right? Like, I'll give you an example. If you're smoking a lot of weed, which I don't condone, nor do I dissuade, right? Why do they want to get high, right? People that smoke weed, they want to get that, they want to feel that high. When I tell you, if you go into a state of meditation, you don't need drugs. When you astral project, you don't need anything else except your own fuel of your own body and your own psyche and your heart space, like your aura and your energetic body. You don't need anything extra. It's crazy. It's a crazy, heady experience. And that's just an example, and that's not a judgment of whatever. I mean, some people take LSD to have that same experience, right? I'm not judging that. Do what you want. But there's something here that is preventing you in your blockages, this devil energy. There's something that is really, it's like you'll reach this place of expansion, but you could reach it faster if you focused. And this Hierophant energy could be a person or persons or organization or a text, a book that could help you reach new heights. A shaman, right? A person that you respect and look up to. And in that effort of ascension, spiritual ascension, that's when this healing begins with the star. This is Aquarius energy. Not only does healing begin, but then you raise your vibration to such a place that you can start making miracles happen. Literal miracles, manifestations. Trust and believe. I've made things happen. I cannot understand how, but they do. I've seen crazy things. I could write a book on how many crazy things I've seen. Just synchronicities, things falling directly into place, things I cannot explain, but I know I attribute to spirit. That's all of this energy that's waiting for you. And spirit is saying, open your heart and eyes up to the possibility that we're not just looking objectively at things. We're having faith. So let's read from the book. I'm going to start with the castle. XL. This is the castle. The palace, the penthouse, the fortress. It's no wonder if, I swear to God, if this talks about Rapunzel, I'm gonna freak out. Oh no, it doesn't. Okay. It's no wonder fairy tales tell of sleeping princesses within castle walls. Well, kind of. Like most archetypes, the castle is loaded with duality. Sorry, I don't have these memorized. I feel like I don't even know if I've ever gotten the castle for a reading. The castle is loaded with duality. It represents abundant riches, seductive fantasy, ornate wonders, and lavish adornments. Yet the walls are thick, cold, and shadowy. This card points to a tendency to hold on to possessions, quite possibly a literal home, or position that project the image of achievement, while the soul longs to run barefoot in the forest, leaving it all behind, like Rapunzel. At times we must settle down, yet the castle lulls us with its spell of materialism, and we fall asleep to our deepest dreams. The castle can be a motivating force, an enchanting goal to travel toward, but it is best not to linger within its walls of decadent deception for too long. That's interesting. So there could be some issue of, you chasing after the material world goals, which, I'm not judging that. But when you also have spiritual gifts that have yet to be awoken, maybe spirit is encouraging that. The lover, the heart, the beloved, the devoted. Pulsing through the heart of the lover is gratitude. The lover appreciates and experiences the world through the senses, reveling in beauty, song, art, music, sense, and sensuality. This energy awakens at the tip of our tongue when we taste the sweetness of honey, kiss a lover, or speak gentle words to a child. The lover lingers in foreplay, aroused not by the getting there, but by the slow merging of self and other. Isn't that slowness I was talking about? This energy is usually experienced for short periods of time, as in order to feel it, we must fully be present and awake. with no expectations or rules about what should be. Rather, the lover is in awe of what the world presents, reveling in the glorious details, grateful to savor every last drop of life's offerings. This and that are true. Look, we got to make a living, pay our bills, etc., etc. And yet the heart longs to be free, to express itself. To the universe. That's your reading, Gemini. It's really beautiful, actually. We all have to get over our devil energy, but don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone. To experience your feelings first rather than second. If this reading resonated, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Please hit the bell notification to be updated as to when I post new readings. Thank you, Gemini.